He didn't expect to wake up to anyone, let alone a woman he barely knew wearing one of his shirts and standing in his tiny kitchen like she belonged there. But that morning, as sunlight pushed through the thin curtains and warmed the chipped countertops, single dad Luke Turner blinked twice to make sure he wasn't dreaming. Because the woman who turned around to face him wasn't just anyone, she was Madison Hale, the CEO of one of the biggest tech companies on the West Coast. A woman whose face had appeared on magazine covers, not in small-town kitchens. And then she said something so unexpected, so unbelievable, that it changed his life, and hers, forever. Before we dive into this story, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to join our community here at TruthLines USA. Your support helps us keep bringing heartfelt, powerful stories just like this one to your screen. Luke Turner was used to early mornings. Most parents wake up early, but Luke woke up before the sun most days, juggling a construction job, making breakfast, packing lunches, and just trying, to do right by his 7-year-old daughter, Emma. Since losing his wife Jenna 2 years ago, life had been a blur of exhaustion and hope stitched together with small moments of grace. A sticky note with a crayon drawing from Emma. A voicemail from his sister reminding him he was doing better than he thought. And sometimes, a stranger's smile at the grocery store that made the day hurt a little less. But nothing prepared him for the night he met Madison Hale. It was raining, one of those cold California rains that felt like it had been waiting all year to pour out all at once. Luke had picked up an extra shift and was driving home on a dark, twisting road when he saw the crumpled silver Tesla sitting half on the asphalt, half in a ditch. A fallen tree branch had smashed the windshield. The front tire was twisted like a broken arm. Luke's heart jumped into his throat. He pulled over, grabbed his flashlight, and called out, "Hello. Are you hurt?" A faint voice answered, and that was all he needed. Inside the car he found a woman, dazed, hair damp with rain, hands trembling as she tried to undo her seatbelt. When he helped her out, she winced but insisted she was okay. He didn't recognize her, not then. To him, she wasn't a billionaire CEO. She wasn't an icon or a headline. She was just someone who needed help. So he did what his wife would have done. He brought her home. His house wasn't much, a 2-bedroom rental with worn floors and a stubborn front door that stuck every morning. But it was warm, and it was safe. He gave her Jenna's old flannel shirt because hers was soaked through. He made her tea. He put a blanket around her shoulders. And when she finally drifted to sleep on his couch, he pulled the blanket up so she wouldn't get cold. He didn't ask her name. And she didn't offer it. Luke slept on the floor beside the couch, just in case she needed anything. When sunlight broke the next morning, Madison woke before he did. She wandered into the kitchen, still wearing the flannel shirt, blue and soft, with the faintest smell of vanilla. She assumed it belonged to his sister or girlfriend, not knowing the story it carried. She was heating water for tea when Luke walked in, hair messy, eyes heavy with that half-awake look only overworked parents seem to have mastered. "You're safe," he said simply. "Car's totaled. But you're safe." She smiled softly. "Thanks to you." He nodded but didn't say anything. Kindness was something he gave freely, not something he expected repayment for. But then she looked at him more closely, as if she were seeing him for the first time. There was something in his eyes, tired, yes, but steady. Something about the way he moved through his small kitchen with quiet purpose. Something about the drawings on the fridge and the toolbox by the door. This wasn't a man pretending to be good. This was a man who simply was. That's when Emma walked in. Tiny, bright-eyed, still in her pajamas with clouds on them. The moment Emma saw Madison, she froze. Madison smiled, kneeling down. "Hi there. I'm Madison." Emma stared a moment longer, then whispered, "You're wearing my mom's shirt." Luke closed his eyes. Madison's heart cracked open. She gently placed her hand over the flannel. "It's beautiful," she said, voice warm. "And very special. I hope it's okay that I borrowed it." Emma nodded, though sadness flickered across her face. Kids understand more than we give them credit for. Over breakfast, Madison learned more about Luke, the construction work, the long hours, the lost wife, the dreams he quietly folded away because they didn't fit into the life of a single father just struggling to keep up. She also noticed the things he didn't say. The little sacrifices that showed up in the empty coffee jar, the worn-out sneakers by the door, the half-fixed kitchen cabinet that kept breaking because he didn't have money to replace the hinges. When she finally told him who she was, he didn't react the way most people did. No awe. No shock. No questions about her money or fame. He simply said, "Well, everybody needs help sometimes." She didn't know why, but that made her throat tighten. When Madison's assistant arrived hours later with a rental car and a frantic apology, Madison hesitated. She gave Luke her number, asked if she could send someone to help fix his fence that had been falling apart since last winter. But Luke shook his head. "Really, it's fine. I'm just glad you're okay." She stood there a moment, surprised. People didn't tell her no. Not anymore. But Luke wasn't trying to impress her. He wasn't trying to get anything. He was simply grateful to have helped. Before she left, she knelt beside Emma and whispered something Luke couldn't quite hear. Emma nodded, a shy smile appearing. And then Madison was gone. Or so Luke thought. The following Friday, something unbelievable happened. Luke had just picked Emma up from school when a sleek black SUV pulled up outside his house. He frowned, confused, until Madison stepped out. This time she wasn't wearing business clothes or heels. She wore jeans, a simple sweater, and a nervous smile. "Hope I'm not interrupting," she said. Luke blinked. No. Everything okay?" She took a breath. "Luke, I couldn't stop thinking about you and Emma. About everything you did without hesitation. Most people see what I can give them. You're the only one in a long time who didn't ask for anything." Luke shrugged, embarrassed. "Didn't do anything special." "Oh, but you did," she said. Then she looked at Emma, who nodded encouragingly. Whatever Madison had whispered to her that first morning clearly wasn't forgotten. Madison stepped closer. "I wanted to give you this," she said, handing him a small envelope. Luke opened it carefully. Inside was a note written in soft, graceful handwriting. "Thank you for reminding me that the world still has people who help without keeping score. I'd like to offer you a job, one that pays well, has full benefits, and lets you be home more with Emma. No strings attached. Just kindness repaid with kindness." Luke stared at the paper. His throat tightened. His vision blurred. "Madison. Why me?" "Because the world needs more people like you," she said softly. "And because I can help. You helped me when you didn't have to. Let me do the same." Luke didn't know what to say. No one had done something this life-changing for him since his wife passed. Emma tugged his sleeve. "Daddy," she whispered, "Mom would want you to say yes." Tears filled Luke's eyes. He didn't remember walking forward, but he suddenly realized Madison was in his arms, hugging him tightly. And for the first time in a long time, he felt something he thought he'd lost the night his wife died. Hope. Over the next few months, everything changed. Luke took the job, site coordinator for a new community project her company was sponsoring. He had regular hours, a better salary, and more time with Emma. He rebuilt the fence. Fixed the cabinet. Started saving for Emma's future. And Madison didn't disappear from their lives. She came over for dinner sometimes. Helped Emma with school projects. Listened when Luke talked about Jenna, never rushing him, never making him feel guilty for remembering his wife. Kindness connected them. And kindness kept them close. One evening, as they stood on Luke's porch watching Emma chase fireflies, Madison turned to him. "You know," she said with a soft smile, "the morning I woke up wearing your shirt, I thought my luck had run out. My car was wrecked. My schedule was ruined. I felt like everything was slipping out of control. And now?" Luke asked quietly. "Now," she said, taking his hand, "I think waking up in that shirt was the best thing that ever happened to me." Luke didn't say anything at first. But he squeezed her hand, and that said enough. Kindness isn't a grand gesture. It's a warm shirt on a cold night. A stranger stopping on a rainy road. A child offering a memory with trust in her eyes. A CEO remembering she's human. A single dad remembering he deserves good things too. Luke didn't rescue Madison because she was important. He rescued her because she was someone who needed help. And sometimes, the simplest kindness leads to the most unexpected blessings.